Okay. Okay, I think we're good. All right. Couple different rolls tonight. Usually a lost cause anyways. That one right there's got an older look to it, but we will see, I guess. Get the let's see. Let's bring us in here a little bit. See where we can get a focus. Go to 22. I think this was the one that looked old. Not really. 63. $76. Guess we gotta be right about there. 17D. Two. 39. Start the scope up, I guess. This one looks older. Oh. Three. And 2013. Let's pull out my nickel stuff here so it's ready. Hard to see, looks like a 94. Couple 64s in this roll, nothing better. Yeah, 89. 15. 17. 70D. Kind of a nice looking one too. It's a little no steps, but that one don't look bad on the strike. Might be a keeper for the 70s tube. '22. 2003. Get a little bit closer for it to focus. 79. Looks like that was an ender at some point. 99. Another 64. It's got to be the fourth 64. 2. And this roll looks like it's going to be a bust. Another 64. That's like the fifth 64 in this roll. And if this isn't anything good, we are busted on that roll. No good there. Come back out. All right, another nickel. Roll number 2 for the evening. I don't see anything that's way off color. Nothing that's way off color. And the first one is going to be a 2020. We'll put that 70 up there for right now. Two. 74. Eight. 2001. 80. 98. 89, 85. P 96 Philly. There's a beat up 98. 82 was an ender at some point. Oh, look at that. There's the first one that I've ever gotten. We'll give that a hit for sure. Definitely seen a little circulation. But that is the first one that I have seen in a roll or circulation. So we'll keep that as a hit. Seven. $84. Let's try. I'm gonna try turning on my overhead. I don't know if that'll make any difference or not. There's the second one. So 2 for the roll. Kind of neat. We'll keep getting those hits for now. $3.94. 01. 12. 15D. 02. 78. 63. This looked a little older sitting there, but I was not sure. Was not sure. 8. 4. 82. 3. Just flipping them over looking for naked eye noticeable die chips, but 85. 66. I don't see a lot of 66s. In a better shape, a little dark, but not bad shape. 11. And the last of the roll is an 82. So we'll come back out. Last nickel roll of the night. Do 3. don't think there's anything that's standing out there either. Come in here. 2021. '96. 81. 82 Philly. 68 Denver. 08 Philly. Close. 16. Used to be an ender. End in water, it looks like. 15. There's a shiny one. 23. 21. There's an 09. We will give the 09s hits. For sure. $60D. 15. 84. Another 16. 11. 2025. Not a hit, but we're gonna keep it. We're gonna set it aside because we'll keep that. Put it in the 2025. Another nice looking 70. No steps, but still probably nice enough to set aside. 19 Philly. 83. 2 Philly, and I need a drink of coffee. Coffee's definitely cold. Let's. You gotta pop the charger on the microscope. 84. 13. Another 13. 5. 70D, not in as good as shave. A little off center by just a little bit. Not worth keeping, but they might have been on a collar or something a little bit. 2021. 75D, but it is not the high placed mint mark. 6. 17 sometimes has noticeable die chips. 15. 19, 18, 19, 17, they all tend to have noticeable die chips sometimes that are definitely noticeable with the naked eye. 74. Last couple of the rolls, 68 Denver. Well, I'm not going to call this roll a bust, but it wasn't great, but I think we gave something that, oh yeah, it was the 09. We gave the 09. Another 75, but not the high mint mark. And final coin is 94 Philly, it looks like. It looks like. Alright, zoom back out. Alright, so now these are it says Samoa on them. And I had a couple of these other ones that I opened the other day, not of the Samoa, but of a different quarter. But this should be a whole roll of uncirculated. It's not going to focus there, but Samoa quarter. So we'll see if we can find any of the blind bats, which are good die chips to find, if you can find it. And I think I have 2 rolls of these actually. So a roll left. But this should be, if they're like the other rolls that I got from the bank, complete, probably for the most part uncirculated. I mean, these obviously are circulated, but they're going to be about uncirculated BUs for sure. We should be able to see pretty closely if we get any blind bats. So that's basically all we're really going to be looking at here, because every one of these quarters is going to be a 2020 Samoa. So I'm just going to look at the blind bats quick for this roll. Make sure we can get, and I think these are Phillies too. Or no, looks like it might be a Denver roll. So if this is complete Denver, then we probably don't have a shot at it. But this will go quick. I don't know if there's die chips elsewhere, but that's the blind bat's the big one you look for. But I think just with these being Denvers, I think they're probably not gonna produce. I will probably set a couple of them aside into the collection as nice uncirculated examples, though, if I can find any. A little bit on something on the nose there, but that's not anything. Typically don't like getting rolls like this, but when you got something you can look for, yeah, I think this whole roll is going to be D. Nice condition quarters though, the whole roll. We'll go under the scope for other die chips at some point. Probably it was unfortunate that this roll was the Denver one. I think I might have the other one. I think might be Philly. So that one might give us a opportunity next video for one of the blind bats. Last couple of these. So other than the fact that these are all BU darn near uncirculated, I think we're still going to give the roll basically a skunking. Just because we did not really get anything out of this roll. All right. Back out for roll 2. Now this is the Massachusetts, and this I think is this D2. So this is what, I don't know, that was meant as a P. So in this we're gonna have a shot at some die chips, definitely in the bell tower. So we'll see if we can get a couple bell tower die chips, which may need a little bit more of the scope to tell. So we'll use the scope a bit here. We'll switch back and forth to the another roll of basically BUs, and we'll bring it in here. These are going to be Phillies, so we will have the die chip in the tower possibility. That one looks funny rough right from the beginning. No, I would say no. There's also die chips in her hair and stuff, but we're going to basically look at that tower right there. Right here is where you'll, if we got a shot, and it looks a little messed up in there. I don't know. Let's take a look at this second one. See if we can find one that's in perfect shape. So that one's a little bit better. That's what it's supposed to look like. It's definitely what it's supposed to look like. You could actually, I think that is a little die chip in that one. I'm saying that's probably a die chip in that one. So I'm going to say we got one there, and then one that's not. Let's go back over here, and we should be able to tell pretty easily, naked eye wise. It'll stand out. I'll watch for the hair a little bit too, but that one don't look odd. We'll take odd ones over to the scope. That one, let me look. No, hard to see naked eye wise. Let's see if this works here just initially. Okay, so that one's no. That one's a no. That one's a no. I'm gonna move this over to here so I don't lose it all the time. All right. That is definitely a no. I would say no. Some of them are big enough they'll stand out without using the magnifying glass. Let's just look at some with the naked eye. Call it with the naked eye. Let's go no on that one. We're going to say no on that one. Kind of not looking at her hair right now. And not enough there to put under the scope. That one's probably not worthy. That one looks a little goofy, but it might be my eyes. It's my eyes. That one's pretty clean in the bell tower. It's pretty clean. I think these are still all coming out fillies, so that one looks clean to me. I should be glancing up at her hair bun there too, but I'm just kind of not. See that there. So like this is the one that we said, yeah, it does have one. It's not a big one in the bell tower there, but it is not exactly the way it's supposed to be. For sure. So even getting one out of the roll is not a bad deal. Call the roll a hit. Or at least call the roll not a dud. A little one that wanted to start in that bell tower but never really developed. And about 12 left. Can we get one more? That one looks a little funny, but probably not. Yeah, so there's a little tiny bit of one that, you know, wanted to start in the bell tower here. But I'm not going to save that one. That's really not worth a save. I think I still have, I might have sold one or two of them on Whatnot, but I think I still have a couple really good ones in my collection that I might not have even listed for sale, to tell you the truth. Should be making sure these are all P's and not W's. But I think these are all probably exactly what the roll said it was going to be. There we go. There's a decent looking one. So that is more I can get it to focus a little bit for you. That's more what we're looking for right there. And I don't think there's probably anything. I don't know if I've ever found the one that is talked about on her hair. I think the more common one is the bell tower. So I'm going to set that one as a keeper because that one's noticeable enough. Let's see, and I'll throw this one up again for an example of one that's basically perfect up there in the bell. The scope doesn't really like to focus too well for the videos. Couple left. That one looks a little messed up to me. Nope, it was just the way the light was hitting it. It's nice when you find the big ones. Those are the cool ones. Nothing in that one. Like, what do we got? Five left. That one looks pretty normal. That one looks normal, but I'm going to scope it quick just to make sure. Yeah. Yeah. 3 left. And alright, so there's another one that's probably worth setting aside. That one's got a pretty good chip that messes up the bell. I can get it to focus a little bit better. Anybody watching probably gets sick. But that's kind of more what we're looking for. Versus, let's see if I can get a good one here. Versus that is basically a flawless one. Come over here and you can kind of see how it's messed up all the way down there and to all the way up there. So that's just cool to me. Probably nobody else. Two more. Didn't really get a significant one. See, like there's another one back to back. That's a little bit better one because it's going into that pillar even. So at least 4, unless this is one too. And that one is not. So at least 4 on that. Zoom out again here. Alright, now these are what are probably the coolest thing out of the bunch of stuff I got from the bank the last trip. As I always get like 8 small dollar rolls, and usually I get a bank roll, which you have Sacagaweas, Susan B. Anthony's. I chase the Susan B. Anthony's more than anything, or the presidentials. But for some reason, I got direct from the mint rolls of essentially uncirculated. See if the camera will do this. 2,000 Phillies. So I got like 4 rolls of 2,000 Philly uncirculated Sacagaweas that we can look for the Wounded Eagle on. And then I end up keeping a couple out of each roll. I've opened up one of these rolls already. Didn't find an eagle, Wounded Eagle. But saved like 4 high grade coins. So with any luck, we get a couple high graders out of this at the worst. And with all the luck in the world, we end up with a Wounded Eagle that is also a high grade, but that I'm not expecting. So the ends don't look really great. Maybe this isn't. These are all going to be pretty nice though. Yeah, I think these are all going to be what I think they are. Let's bring in here So essentially, I mean, this is an ender, but essentially, hopefully we have a whole roll of uncirculated Sacagaweas. The last roll had pretty good spotting once you got into the middle of the roll. So hopefully these are a little bit, yeah, look, I mean, that's, there you can kind of see the spotting. So I picked out like 4 of the last roll that really didn't have any spotting. But we're really looking for that wounded eagle, which should stand out naked eye wise if we get it. I mean, there's a nice one there. I will end up saving a ton of these. We'll have to look at the tail feathers to make sure we ain't sitting on a Cheerio. But these are all going to be pretty nice, except I wish the spotting wouldn't, you know, be there, but I get a couple where it's not. So, well, right there at that angle is pretty good angle for looking at the eagle. And like I said, I don't think these even need to really go under the scope to check that eagle. So we'll throw them all under the scope just to check the tail feathers. Make sure we ain't got that detailed tail feather. But you should be able to see those 2 wounded marks in the eagle pretty darn easily without the scope, especially on this camera. Now, is it likely we find it? No. See, like this one, very little spotting on that one. I like that one. That one I probably end up keeping. And more spotting on that one than I want. No eagle feathers there. So this one looks pretty good as far as spotting goes. I'll have to scope them to see if there's any that are actually like worth grading. If you can get a 2000 Philly in a 68 plus, it's right around $375 right now. You get it in a 69 PCGS price guide's got them at 5100, which is crazy. Now, I don't know if there's any of these that I'm going to send, but, you know, try to get the eagle there. I think I have 2 in my box of possible senders right now. Looks like I got about 10 coins left here. Here's a nice one. Not much spotting. But no wounded. Here's another nice one that got away from the spotting. I should have been separating them. Almost seems like this half of the roll got away from getting spotted. Oh, that one got a little spotted. But I thought it was pretty cool just to see, like, this one's got a little bit of, she's got a mark on her cheek and stuff, so that right there automatically sends it out of being sent in for grading. But like the fields on most of these and stuff should be really good. I don't see any spotting on that one too bad. And I don't see a wounded eagle there. 3 more. I think from the looks of things, there's some field issue right in front of the eagle there, but this roll I think I'm going to save more out of than the last roll. There's spotting on that one. No wounded eagle. And the last one of the roll, spotting's not bad on that one. Not terrible. But no wounded eagle. I think I got 2 or 3 more of these rolls to eventually look through, so go over the scope here. There's the tail, so it'll be a quick check on the tail of each one just to make sure we're not sitting on a Cheerio, which I'm almost positive that we're not. Might as well just give them the quick check. It's only 25 coins, so we'll just do them all quick here and call it good. I don't know, maybe these would have been smarter just to keep. See, like this one here, this looks like a nice coin. Yeah, there's a field mark there. I end up thinking it's going to be a nice coin, and then there's a mark that knocks it down a notch for me. Now that we're looking at the tail, we'll be able to see that spear quick, at least in the area. Yeah, none of them on the initial look struck me as having that tail detail. But you never know what I overlook until I sit at my other desk and just give them the hard look, the more than 3 seconds. Yeah, a couple more here, and then I got a couple packages I'm going to open up, and then I'm going to call it a night. That might be a nice coin. Might be one with no spotting. A little bit of wear from the mint, but other than that, they're still pretty darn good. Spotter. Call them spotters. These definitely have not been circulated, other than the fact of coming out of the hopper at the mint or whatever travel they take to get into the mint issued roll. Let's see, I'm going to play with the camera here for a second, just to see. if I could get... Yeah, that ain't bad for the screen, I guess. I got 4 more to look at. Alright. Nothing. And nothing. Nice looking. That one might be one of the nice looking ones, though. I think there's going to be 1 or 2 of these sent in for sure. I do believe. But we did not hit essentially what we were looking for. So let's go back here. Go back to that view. Get some of these out of the way. Try not to mark them up as I'm doing this. All right, let's do a couple package openings. Let's do this. Exactly, that is right there, I guess, for now. All right, 3 package openings, and then I am done for you. Let's see, that one and this one I think are the same. So this one I think was a card, if I'm not mistaken. Try to get into it without tearing it up too much. Knocking over coins. Get these over here. So I was in the guy's card stream, and if this is what I think it is, I saw him pull this, and I asked if he wanted to sell it, and he did. So I ended up with a Pieces of the Past Samuel Colt from the Inventors collection. I don't know, let's see, is this, so it is a 2025 Inventors edition. So that's kind of cool. I think this one's probably still got the film on the front, so that's probably going to go up here somewhere at some point. Probably take out one of the 2 basketball players or something. I don't want to take out Bridget, but we'll put Samuel Colt right there for now. And let's see. This, I think I need to get the scissors going. All right, this one I don't really care if I cut the envelopes, which I've done before on these packages, because these are mint sets that will just eventually be the set will be cracked. I think they're both 81s. Did I get, yeah, so I got both 81s. This envelope's in a little bit better shape. But I am a mint set cracker, if you will. And I will take all these coins and essentially crack them out of here and see how they look for a possible grader. If you can get a 19, well, you can get a 1980 or 81 Susan B. Anthony to grade high, and I mean 66 or better. That's where you end up getting into a little bit of money. And then I just look at the other ones and say, you know, being a nickel collector, I'll save the nickels and stuff. But I think these are both 81s. Yeah. Thought maybe I got an 80, but I was wrong. And then this one, I believe it was from the same seller on a different day. I do believe and it was a lot of a few coins. I don't even remember. A couple pennies, I do believe. Rubber banded up there. So this is a, let's zoom this. A 56 Philly in pretty good BU shape still. There was that one. And then this one. This one actually looks better. I guess I got 4. I thought I got 3. It's a nice 58 Denver in BU. It's a nice coin there. Let's see, 2 more to look at here quick. I don't even remember what years they were. Nice looking 55 Denver. Looks like it might have a little chip up there or something. Let's switch over to the scope. We still got the scope running. Yeah, a little damage. I'll call that a little damage there. And obviously some circulation wear, but still not a bad looking 55. And then what was this last one? This last one was a 57 Philly. That might look a little bit better, actually. That might be the best looking one of the 4 in reality. Might be a little bit of a field mark right in front of them there, but there's going to be those all over these for the most part. So anyways, I think that's the evening. I think that's my rolls. And a couple packages I wanted to get open. I am going to call it a night.